Hey, how's it going, David? This is going to be a quick demo video for you for your Solo Sabers and SP Sabers Raxus Starkiller. There's a lot going on with this guy, so let's go over my desk and take a look at it, and we'll get this out in the mail to you tomorrow. Thanks. Hey, what's up, David? Let's go over your SP Sabers and Solo Sabers Raxus. This is the second one that I've done for you, actually. This is installed with the Goth Master chassis and a Proffie, but we'll get to that here in a second. From the outside, I did all the weathering and the heat staining. I know the light is a little harsh. When you get this in person, it's very toned down. I tend to have a harsh light here, so every detail can be picked up. But we've got the add-on for the Goth crystal chamber. I opted to not use the printed crystal for the main chamber for you, but I put a real quartz crystal in there. All right, and it has its own Neopixel accent. A 2-button setup, so power here, auxiliary back here. You've got a KR Sabers lit PCB in there, so we'll light that up here in a second. I typically use this guy for a blade retention. It is pretty tight. It's a tight fit, but you can get it loose and then clip it back on. All right, heat stain the steel emitter ring right here, the titanium bars, as well as the titanium upper and lower crystal chamber pieces. Weathered all the brass, weathered all the aluminum. These are made out of copper, so I heat stained all 6 of these. All right, coming down here, I did heat stain all of these. They're made out of steel, and this one slides down and exposes your secondary crystal chamber as well as your kill switch. All right, you can access that from the window, which is really cool, something that Rick put in there. You asked for the brass Covertech. In fact, you sent me 2, one for this guy and one for your other Raxus. So I did make sure I could match up the circumference of the bottom of this guy to the handle, shaved it down a little bit, and then put it on there. And I heat stained the 832 screw that I used. All right, to get to your chassis, you just want to unscrew the handle here. All right, when you take this off, this is your chassis, so you've got your secondary crystal in there. Of course, it's got that rotating plasma piece that we'll see here in a second. This piece is on magnets, and it rides right along these 2 rods. So you could pop it up on 2 magnets there, or you could pop it down, just a little something to play with, depending on what look you like. All right, but it slides on there pretty freely. Your board right here, a removable 18650 battery. To get to those things, you'll want to take this guy and pop it off. All right, it's held on there with 2 magnets, 2 here and 2 here. And then you can take your battery out. You may need a tool. Pop it out like that, and that's your battery tray. So your leaf spring back here is the negative side of your battery. You will see 3 little wires. I tried to put them as neatly as I could, but they do have to cross over from these 3 tubes right here. They come through one side, but they get wired to the other side of the board. So I tried to cross them as neatly as I could there. That's about the only place in there. All right, you put a battery in there, snap it in. If you want to get to your SD card and your micro USB, you do that from right here. There is a 5-pixel accent strip on top of the board. It's wired in line with your main blade. All right, but if you don't want to get to your battery, you don't have to get to your board. You just take this guy and you slide it back on. It is a bit of a tight fit, but it goes on just like that. All right, 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker. We can flip it on from here, of course. You've got twist off, or you can put the handle on. When you tighten this all the way down, you'll get to here where it's just a little tight. You want to tighten it all the way until this bar is even right in between these 2 bars. All right, that is the proper alignment. But when you tighten it all the way, it should go there automatically. You can see I've got your crystal kind of pulsing there when the saber's off. I can slide this down. This has a heartbeat. This one's pulsing for now. A copy of the config file is on the SD card as always. And then we can take our finger and turn it off, or we could turn it on. blade. All right, we'll loosen this guy up a little bit. This is made for a 7/8 inch blade. All right, so we'll put a 7/8 inch blade down here, lock this in, hit power. Light up the blade very well. Good flash on flash. Blade lock up. Our soundtrack. I'll turn it off. And we'll take the blade out. Tighten this guy back up. And of course you can just flip it off from here. Right. Slide this down, flip it off from here. I am going to take this battery out though because it is my test battery. Then again, you might need a tool to pop that out because the battery is a bit of a tight fit. So pop that guy out. Come over here and pop the battery up. And pop it out, and then we'll put this back on. Just like that. All right, and then we'll put the handle back on for safekeeping. But that is basically how you work this Raxus Starkiller. Let me know if you have any questions. It's a little late in the day today, but my intention is to package this up and get it out in the mail to you tomorrow. Thanks, man.